good evening, and welcome to Tea Time.
Welcome to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. It is January 13th. I'm going to talk about my weekend real quick and get to my in-studio guest. I'm very excited. Friday night, I actually just stayed in. I had actually a few scripts to read. Very excited about them. We're going to talk about one tonight, and the other one I'm not talking about at all. Saturday, I went to my sister's house in Dix Hills. We got the familia together, and we hung out with Mom. And yesterday, Sunday, was, of course, laundry. I do my laundry on Sunday, watched a little football, and then I went to my girlfriend Doreen's house, and she made some homemade lasagna. We had a little vino, and it was wonderful. So I just want to say before I start the show, I want to give a shout out to everybody in California. My prayers are with you. I've been checking on my friends and my family in California, and it's just, a horrific thing that's going on out there. And again, we're all, praying and hoping that they're able to resolve this. But, Mother Nature has to cooperate too. But again, thinking of everybody. And shout out to Carmine, whose birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, my friend. All right, listen, let me get to my guest because I'm excited he's here. Rocco Trombetta, hello. How are you?
Hello there, Teresa.
How are you?
Fantastico.
I love when he speaks Italian. Okay. He's an author. And you're an author. You're a published author.
Yes, I guess I am.
You are.
That's what they call us, right?
Yes.
You write something, you're an author.
Hello, your book is on Amazon.
I'm an author.
And it's exciting, but we're going to talk. I want everyone to get to know you. So let's start off with, right now you live in Westchester somewhere,
Correct.
right? Okay, but you actually grew up in the Bronx, but you were not born in this country.
I was not.
You were born in?
On the other side of the pond.
The homeland.
The homeland in Italia.
Right.
In the Naples region, but of course we're going to dot it down all the way to Solofra, a little town called, well, actually not so small, but it's a town called Solofra, which is Provincia di Avellino. Avellino, for those Avellinese out there, all right? Solofra is my hometown. Yeah, so we
And you lived there until you were 12.
A little younger than that.
Younger?
Little younger than that.
But you came from a very hardworking family. Your mom was worked in a factory.
Worked in a factory. She had her own little store, as a matter of fact, as well, and worked really, really hard. My father drove a cab.
Yes, your dad was cab driver.
Or at least they called them noleggiatori, which is basically a town driver, if you will, but to make it easier for everyone to understand.
Like a modern day Uber.
Bravissima. Even better.
Okay.
I knew exactly.
And your older brother worked in a restaurant?
And my older brothers, we had one of them work in the restaurant.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes, yes,
okay.
yes.
So everyone, helped.
We worked
and
very
pitched
hard.
in.
Yes,
Yeah.
the typical immigration family.
Right.
Come here and do what we had to do in order to survive. We came over on a boat, literally.
Yeah.
On a boat.
Was it called the Michelangelo?
It was called the Michelangelo and the Raffaella. There were two twin boats.
Right.
One would go and one would come back.
Okay.
So, they'd meet in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. We'd wave at each other and cry, who's going to back to Italy and who's going back. My father, as a matter of fact, would be like, can I come on the other side? I want to go back. No.
And
No.
and that was a nine days it took you to get here?
Yeah, roughly 9 days. But it was a really beautiful voyage, if you will.
And then did the Statue of Liberty welcome you?
Yes, we
So
came
it was like the
in-
scene from
from
The
many,
Godfather?
many movies, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah,
and one in
yeah.
particular, The Godfather, probably. Yeah. Came into the right underneath the Verrazano Bridge. I still remember we were on the last deck,
Yeah.
top deck.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally, you see the ceiling. We were probably that. The distance.
Really?
Yeah, that's how much it just fit through.
Wow.
And then of course from a distance you saw the Statue of Liberty, Miss
Yeah.
Liberty,
Yeah.
holding the torch, welcoming us. But that day,
Wow.
as I say in the book, she wasn't so welcoming. In what sense? And it was such a dismal, overcast day,
Yeah.
and it just was very melancholy. And again, you're thinking of what you left,
Right.
and what
you
you
left
were
behind.
about to.
Yeah.
Experience.
Well, we have some picks. So let's start with let's go to O, please.
Oh.
Yeah, because there's mom and dad.
That's Mama and Papa in
Yes.
Sorrento.
In Sorrento.
That's where they had their honeymoon. So from Solofra to Sorrento's, now it takes maybe, 45 minutes. Back
Oh.
then it probably took 2 hours.
Probably. Let's go to the next
So-
one, please, because your dad actually was in the service.
Yes, as I mentioned in the book as well, right? He
Yes.
was in the Italian military.
Yeah.
That's my beautiful, handsome
What a
dad.
good-looking man.
He was.
And then
He was.
let's go to Q.
Q. That's
That's you.
little Rocco,
Yeah.
who looks like little Joseph, my son. That's mom.
And
That's
mom.
mom. There.
And R.
That's,
Let's go to
my,
R. Which
my
is
first
doing-
communion there.
Aw. And that's you.
That's my brother.
Your brother. Yeah.
That's my brother in the book.
In the book.
All right.
Yeah.
And,
That you mentioned in the book, which we're going to talk about the book because everyone has a story. So you come to the U.S. It was 1977.
Yeah, 72 actually it was.
Oh,
but
it was?
72, 72,
Okay,
72. And maybe even into 73, whatever. So we came into the neighborhood and
you landed in the Bronx.
landed
the
in the
Boogie Down
Bronx.
Bronx.
The Boogie Down Bronx on Arthur Avenue, which
Yes.
is known today as the
Very
Belmont
famous,
District, right?
yes.
Yeah, today it's very famous.
Yes.
Back then it was a I don't want to exaggerate. It was a ghetto, but it was an Italian ghetto.
Right,
it was
right,
we're all
right.
the tenement buildings. We all lived in the
Right.
tenement buildings, and we
Yeah.
had the the pleasure of living in one, and the fifth floor apartment.
Walk up?
Walk up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we'd be waking up in the middle of the morning, middle of the night, I should say,
Yeah.
well, morning, with you go to the bathroom, open the lights, and what do you see all over the place?
The roaches.
Yeah.
Well, we lived in one. I grew up in
Gagaroch.
well until I was 4. I grew up in Corona,
Oh, there you go.
4th floor, and it was an experience.
So that's why we would be like, what are we doing here?
Right.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I was a kid. I didn't understand too much.
Right, right.
As
But you didn't speak any English when you came
No,
here, right?
no.
You had to learn in school.
Learned in school.
Did you
but
watch TV? Try to watch TV too and learn from the
yes,
television?
television helped immensely.
Right.
The kids, in the neighborhood. And you know what? You had to learn quick because, when they were talking about you,
You had to know.
You had to know what they were saying, And, and again, at a certain age, you're just a sponge.
Right,
So you
right,
just
right.
pick-
Yes.
You just pick
Yes,
up. I
yes.
think in 6-7 months, I was pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's how quick it went.
Yeah. We have. Let's go to pick. Let's go to pick ABC. We'll start from there because you could tell me who's in these picks.
So that's my brother on the left, right? That's on the ship.
Yes, that's on
right?
the ship.
And that's me in the middle.
Wow.
That other kid is just a friend.
All right.
And I don't know who he is, but he was just
All right,
one
he
of
tagged
these
along.
tag-alongs.
Let's
That's
go
it.
to
Took
B.
a picture with us.
Now that's Dad.
That's my dad, and that's me
Yeah.
that he's holding. And
Yeah.
again, that's my brother.
Oh,
right?
tiny.
And again, my dad was again an Uber driver of yesteryear.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
is what he was with the hat. He was so proud of that car, and let me tell you, worked very hard to get credit.
Yeah.
To get that.
To get the
I think that's
vehicle,
called
right? Yeah.
I forget the name of the make of the car, but anyway, I remember he'd tell us the story many times of the sacrifice to have that beautiful car in order to
Sure.
work.
And the
you
next pick, I think, is you with the birthday. Is it a birthday?
know.
Birthday
Yeah.
pick?
That's still in Italy.
How cute.
3 years old.
And August baby.
August 16.
There you go.
San Rocco.
Okay.
Il giorno di San Rocco.
I love that. Let's go to D, please. We'll just stay there for a little bit. Now,
That's
tell me
my
about
son.
this. That is your son.
That's my
okay, so I was
son.
going to say he does look just like you.
He looks just like me, and we are aspiring for him to be a, hopefully
All right.
a director.
There
Who
you
knows?
go.
Look at him; he's already behind the camera.
The next pick is your dad, also.
That's my father, yes, and that's
Yeah.
my uncle in the back there.
Yeah.
Basically, that's on probably one of their because they probably at times would drive together,
Right,
and would
right.
meet like let's say in I don't know in Napoli, whatever. Because
Yeah.
my uncle also drove, and that's probably one of their like meeting places in a restaurant or something,
Yeah.
where they would just have a little meal before their next drive.
And F in the last one, I think, is you and your dad.
And that's
Yeah.
Zio Luigi.
Oh,
That's
oh,
Zio Luigi.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right? In the book.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's Zio, uncle.
Okay, uncle.
Slash
Yes.
cousin Luigi.
Got it. Yes, he's the one
In the
actually
book.
that welcomed you
Correct,
here. He was
correct.
already. Thank you. He was already established, and he
Correct.
helped you guys get established as
Exactly.
well, set you guys up.
Exactly.
Well,
Yes.
let me tell you something. You wrote an amazing. Look, everyone has a story, and yours started. What, like 30 years ago or something? You took pen to paper and you started writing down. Yeah, this is the original spiral notebook.
To paper.
All
Handwritten.
handwritten
Right here.
of your story.
I remember when I showed this to Frank, which I said, Frank, you didn't want this in order
no,
to.
so this
Frank.
this became this. Okay, which I have a pic, Carmine, a closer pic
Yeah.
of the cover. Thank you so much. There once was a melody in the Bronx, and as you could see, to the left is Joe Pesci, and the kid at the microphone is actually your son.
That's my son.
Yes.
I wanted to give him a little bit of kudos, put him on the cover, and
Yeah.
I could have found a picture of me, but I said, you know what?
Thank
No.
you for that.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna put my son.
But so you,
little
you,
guy,
you-
Joseph.
so you start writing your story, okay, and then you put it away, right, in a basement somewhere. You just disregard it.
Disregard.
And one day, your son, with his friend, is watching the movie A Bronx Tale, right?
Exactly.
And you say what?
They're watching the Bronx Tale. I just kind of like look over their shoulder and I'm looking at the screen and I just, said, look, my story. And of course, they turned around and said, that's not your story. That's Chaz Palminteri's story.
Right.
I said, I know it's Chaz Palminteri's story.
Right.
But I'm just saying it's a story that resembles my story in the sense that everyone, like you just said earlier, everyone has a story, Theresa.
Right.
Everyone has a
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
You got a story, right?
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah,
has a story.
yeah.
So I said, my son turns around, he goes, but where is it? Didn't you have it? Where? So I got a little frightened because I said, where is it? Where did I put it? So I
Yeah.
went downstairs in the basement. It literally took me maybe a half hour to find it because I was looking all over, under everything.
But thank God you still had it.
Finally, I found it. I brought it back up to them upstairs, and
Held it
literally,
up.
I took it and I went, there you go. So these kids look at me, my son and his friend.
yeah.
Should I say his name on it? Nick. All right, remember Nick? Okay. He turns around. He goes, "That's not a book." I said, "You're right." I said, "It's not a book. You're absolutely right. But it's gonna be a book. I promise you that."
Right.
At that point, I could not have brought it back down again and stay there for another 30 years.
Right.
I said, I have to do this. I got to write it. It's got to be done.
Right.
Just to get it off my chest. And prove also, by the way, to any aspiring author out there, I mean, I guess that's what I said earlier. I don't, people say, you're an author. I say, okay, I guess that's what I am. But,
Yeah.
But if you have a story, if you have something that's on your chest, it's something that you need to, if you will, gurgitate. do this.
Yeah.
Do this.
Yeah.
Take a pen and a paper. Exactly, like old school.
Old school. Yeah,
Old school.
exactly.
And today with all the technology we have, that is why I had no excuse anymore.
Right.
Because I knew at that point, I said, technology today allows us to do a lot more than what I could have done anyway back in 1992, 91, something like that,
Yeah.
93.
Yeah.
I can't type. I still can't type. I'm still one of these guys. So imagine. So what did I do? I dictated this thing on an app.
Right.
Okay, giving you the little secrets out there what to do. There's an app.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna solicit for the app unless they give me residuals. So there's an app out there that you can actually dictate into, and
Yeah,
of course it took me a long time. Don't get me wrong to
Right,
read this whole
right.
thing, and at times to read my chicken scratch. And
Right,
trust me,
yeah.
this is I still can't read
Yeah.
it, and I don't know how I read it.
Right.
But anyway, I did it, and
You
then
did
of
it.
course went back to it and edited and blah 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 blah. We fast forward to about 7, 8, 9 months after I had written it,
Well,
if
you
you will.
actually acknowledged Chaz in the
Oh, yes, I did.
acknowledgements.
Yes, I did. I had to because the truth of the matter was if it wasn't for him having done that, I probably wouldn't have been inspired to write a book, write a story, my story
Right, right.
of the neighborhood, my story again.
Right, right.
So yeah, I had to give him acknowledgement. I had to. It was just the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And of course, many others, who I mentioned in the book,
Right. Now, all the names were changed to protect the innocent except yours, correct?
A few names had to be
You're the only
changed.
real name in there.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Pretty
Okay.
much. What's Luigi's name? He's whatever. But
Right.
yeah, most of the names were
Right. And
were
Joe.
just changed.
And Joe was Joe.
And Joe Pesci
Joe
is
was
Joe
Joe.
Pesci,
Right.
and for
Different last name, but it was Joe.
correct. But we changed his
You
last
did.
name
You did.
in the book,
Which is
but-
actually my cousin's last name, by the way.
You're kidding me?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, listen, we have to take my first break, but don't go away because there's so much more to talk about. So we'll be back after this. Don't
All
go
right.
away.
Wonder Woman was everything to little girls, especially that look like me. She stands for being a voice for people that need a voice. My organization renovates homes for people with disabilities. And when I come home, a self-care routine makes me feel my best. I'm very proud of the difference that we're making, and to see that impact in my community inspires me to work even harder for everyone around me.
Well, hi there, Theresa. It's John York from General Hospital. I am just checking in because apparently you have a great talk show called Tea Time on Strong Island TV. I want you to have continued great success and have a lot of fun. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun, and that's pretty much the key to everything, isn't it? So continued success. I'm proud of you. Have a great day, Theresa. Bye.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. I'm with author, Rocco Trombetta, and I was thinking about somebody else while I'm talking because I try to do 10 things at one time. Anyway,
Bye.
because we talked during the break. Anyway, so I want to talk about how we met, okay? Because those are pics. HK, L&M. So we're going to put up H, please. Thank you. You had a book signing. You had an event in November, and I get an invitation from you, and you said, please come, please come, please come. And I got in touch with Frank, who Frank is standing next to you in the picture over there, who
Frank
actually
Mancuso.
you got in touch with Joe Cirillo, which we're going to get into, because he turned the book into a screenplay. Thank you. Let's go to the next pic.
Yes, he
because
did.
that's us. Oh, that's the book, obviously.
Yeah, the
There
book.
once was a melody in the Bronx, and we got some pics of the night there you, signing. And it was at a beautiful wine place, and we had some delicious wine, and there we are taking pics. And you can keep going. There's the three of us. There's you and me and Frank. And we had a great night. It was
We did.
it was a really, really nice turnout.
Great
Unfortunately,
turnout.
the weather wasn't too nice.
I recall. And,
Yeah.
and by the way, thank you for making it that night because it was treacherous.
It was nasty.
She made it.
It was
I
so
was
bad.
like, when I saw her walking through the door, I said, no.
It was
I
rainy
can't
and it
believe
was
it.
just a bad night, but I was glad I made it there, and I went and you, it was nice enough
And I
for you
mean
to
that. Thank you.
sign me. Oh no, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, signing the book for me, and so. You get in touch with Joe Cirillo. Joe Cirillo is a wonderful man. I had on the show twice. He's
the
an
best.
actor. He worked for and with Telly Savalas. He was in Ghostbusters. He wrote his own fabulous book. And you got in touch with him. Joe put you in touch with Frank. And, you know, and then Frank read the book and said, hey, this really needs to be a movie because it's too good.
That's exactly, you explained
Is
it.
that but how
I
crazy?
don't know.
But how crazy
It is crazy.
is it
And
all?
you know
Because
what's crazy?
you just wanted to get it finished as a book.
What's crazy is that on Facebook, we happened to have a friend in common, Mr. Paul Borghese.
Paul Borghese, yes. Yep.
On Facebook,
Yes.
and he happened to comment, Mr. Cirillo. I
Joe,
call him Mr.
yeah.
Cirillo.
I know.
He says, "Call me Joe." I said, all right, Joe. He happened to post something that he knew. Mr. Cirillo knew all these characters.
Yeah,
real life.
He knew everyone in your book.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
And I right away said, what? So I messaged him, you know, and I said,
Yeah.
Mr. Cirillo, you know these people? He says, yes, then he told me his age. I said, no wonder you know them all because he's been
a
around.
mature man.
He's a mature man. He's been
Yes.
around quite a bit.
Yes.
So I call him up, we speak, we talk, and I send him but
Well-
of course he says, before you send
Yes.
in anything to me, is it copywritten? And I go, no. And he goes, don't you dare.
Yeah.
I said, Mr. Cirillo, come on. You sound like a really good, nice man.
Yeah.
So, no. And he was stern about
Animate
that.
about it, yes.
I said, okay. I wrote it.
Yeah.
Boom. As soon
Yeah.
as I did that, I sent it because
Right.
I really wanted him to give me his feedback. I
Right,
knew
right.
whether it was going to be positive or negative, he was going to be honest with me.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
I don't know if you guys know about Mr. Cirillo's story. He had a problem back in the day with a copyright.
He had an idea.
A
yes.
very big idea, and some chidrul that we got to still go visit out there and wherever he is.
Took his idea.
Mr. Cirillo was the original writer of that infamous movie, that little movie, Night at the Museum. Yeah, you remember that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the original writer of that, well, not the film, but the story.
Right, yeah.
He, being the gracious person that he is, he gave it to someone just like I wanted to, right?
Right.
Look at it, see,
Yeah,
what do you
yeah,
think?
yeah,
Blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
Long story short.
You have to protect yourself, unfortunately.
That's what happened. So anyway, that's the reason why he was so adamant about it.
Right.
I gave it to him,
And he gave you honest
and he
feedback.
gave me an honest feedback. And let me tell you,
And what did he say?
he was, he gave me that encouragement to
Yeah.
say, this is a great book. I remember exactly what he said. I couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
I had to go to the bank to make a deposit or withdrawal. I don't remember what he had to do. But he said, I had to go to the bank and I couldn't wait to get back and pick up the book.
Right,
Because I was just so
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, yeah.
When he said those words, I was like, are you kidding me? Because, when you write something, you're your worst enemy and you're your worst critic. And you're your worst.
Yeah, absolutely.
How could he like this?
Yeah.
He liked it, loved it, whatever, and he really gave me a boost, and then I asked him, I said, well, what can we do? Can I? He says, I got the guy for you.
I know a guy.
I know a guy.
I know a guy.
who would be a perfect match with you, and you know what? I know he's here and he's
Yes,
looking
he
at me
is.
over
He
here.
is. He is. We're gonna
But,
after the next break. We're
this-
gonna bring Frank up.
The truth is
Yeah.
has to be said now, right? Live. I appreciate this, both of them, these two gentlemen, of course, Mr. Cirillo and Mr. Frank Mancuso. But I really do, because, and this is not, where they are just very straightforward men, and
Because they're
and I
old
really
school.
believe that
Old school.
I'm a person of faith, okay?
Mm.
And I really truly believe someone put us together, and I know that someone is. That's why this is the way it's happening. Mr. Mancuso winning all these awards for this script that he adapted from my book. It's just amazing. It's just totally amazing. And it was the right time. 30 years later, this was the time to have landed in it. And listen, if this becomes something, it becomes something. If it doesn't, you know what? I'm the most happiest person because I took this, right? Brought it to this.
Yeah.
Now it's this. Listen, it's all here.
It's definitely evolved.
It's all here. That's bad. Like this. It's like this. You see that? Okay.
Amazing. Amazing.
Next, you
It's
got
amazing.
a camera over here. And maybe...
Right there.
Okay. The camera, and maybe next is camera. I don't know. But
Well, that's
we will see.
That's what we want to happen. We want this to become a movie. That's what we want. Oh, go ahead. You can announce it.
And she, you know, she is mom.
I'm playing mom.
Questa-
Thank you for
questa mia
announcing
mamma.
that. Oh,
La mia mamma.
I am so, let me tell you something. I'm so honored and blessed. And I feel the way you do. There are no accidents in life. Everything happens for a reason when it's supposed to happen.
I just say to myself, why is it just flowing? That's
And
the only
God
way I
bless,
can
and
think.
I have to say, God bless your mom. Your mom is 91,
still alive,
91,
still around.
and in the Bronx.
In
right?
the Bronx, every
God bless.
week I'm there,
God
or
bless.
every other week.
And I can't wait to sit down and talk to her because I want to have a
will bring you over
conversation. I
one
have
day
to have
and
a
she'll-
conversation.
And she'll make
I
you
have to.
pasta e fasullo,
Ooh.
con un bello bicchiere di vino. E chi sta meglio di noi?
So, what do I have to do? I have to brush up on my Italian. That's what I have to do.
We'll get you going.
We're going to get there. Listen, we're going to take my next break. When we come back, Rocco, I'm going to switch out Rocco and bring up Frank Mancuso, and we're going to talk about how he adapted the book into a screenplay, and then we're going to bring Rocco back. So don't go away because there's so much to talk about.
Wonder Woman was everything to little girls, especially that look like me. She stands for being a voice for people that need a voice. My organization renovates homes for people with disabilities. And when I come home, a self-care routine makes me feel my best. I'm very proud of the difference that we're making, and to see that impact in my community inspires me to work even harder for everyone around me.
How you doing? It's Sal, the voice of Valentinetti. Why are you watching me? You should be watching Theresa Tea Time with Theresa Farrell. And make sure you follow Theresa on Facebook. Tea Time with Theresa Farrell. We'll see you there.
I love the way you say my name. I love. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. Poof! Frank Mancuso is here.
Hello again for the third time. I guess.
He is a.
I'm becoming a regular.
He is a screenwriter. He's also a SAG actor, and he's written 17.
I'm up to 17. I finally surpassed my idol, Joe Cirillo, who was my mentor on this.
17 screenplays, and I'm happy to say that
And 2 have been produced already.
2 have been produced. One's on Amazon Prime.
Anemone, yep.
Anemone, and
Now we just finished Lenore to New York.
Yes.
New York to Palermo. We just finished post-production, and actually we'll be announcing that I'll be here for a little get-together for a few of the cast and
he's
crew.
going to be here
Some
at Paradise
guests.
Studios.
Yes, Paradise Studios.
And let's just say that last week I did have on a friend of ours.
Which one? Mr. Stephen
Mr.
Kelly?
Kelly.
Yes, I know.
And we talked about you, obviously, because you wrote his screenplay, Mikey Blue Eyes.
No, he wrote Mikey Blue Eyes.
Well, he wrote it, but you
I'm the producer.
You're producing it. And
I'm
you're
producing
you're
that
helping
with,
him out. Actually,
with
he didn't want your help, right?
No, I know. And then we also just produced Pints with Kelly.
Pints with Kelly.
We just did
yes,
that.
yes.
We were up in
His
Tarrytown, New York. We
documentary.
just
Yes,
did that.
Yes.
And then things are slowly moving
So
along.
now you got.
And then I'm going to be working. Eventually, we'll get going with
Yes.
Mikey Blue
We'll be
Eyes.
filming Mikey
and
Blue
which
Eyes.
you're also partaking in that
Yes,
as
I play your wife.
my wife, yeah. So she's definitely getting around and stuff like that.
I try.
So
Well, listen, let's talk about this, okay? Because obviously, Rocco wrote this book, okay?
Yes.
So Joe contacts you. Joe
Yep.
Cirillo contacts you.
We have lunch together in Long Island.
And he goes, you got to read this book.
Yes.
And then you read it and you're like, holy crap, this has to be
I
moving.
did it in an hour and a half.
You read this in an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. I couldn't
An
put
hour
it
and a
down.
half, okay, it is on Amazon. Thank you, Carmine. And let me tell you something. It is a fabulous, fabulous read. There's a lot of twists. There's a lot of turns.
Yes.
I've gasped. I was like, okay. You laugh, you cry,
Yes.
you smell the Zeppelis at the feast, and you smell the wine in the restaurant. It's so well written. It really is. And
yes.
then Frank writes the screenplay.
My God. What a challenge.
And I read this, and I was like, holy cannoli, this is freaking amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you.
I couldn't put this down just like I couldn't put the book down.
Thank you.
And I have written some stuff that Frank wrote in the past,
Yes.
but not an entire script.
No, not an entire
And you said
script.
to me, Theresa, I'm sending you the entire script. And I was like, I feel so blessed. And it's amazing. It's
Thank you.
amazing. I freaking loved it. And you, how did this work for you and your process?
This was the most challenging as a writer.
Because this is a totally different genre that you're used to also.
No, I've written a mob movie before.
Yeah, but this isn't.
This is totally different. This is a period piece.
Yes.
And not only is it a period piece, but you as a writer have a lot of range of motion where you can develop your own characters and you have free movement. Here, since you're going by the book, you're structured to the characters, locations, and you have to pick and choose what scenes are going to fit naturally to maintain the
Flow?
truthness, the flow
Yeah.
of the book.
Keep it moving.
To keep it moving and stuff. And that was one of the biggest challenges for me as a writer. And now that I did it, I said, you know what? It was actually a blessing because, like I said, it really motivated me to become a better writer and to also then move forward to say that, yeah, you know what? As a confidence builder, it was definitely something that worked for me. And
you didn't handwrite anything.
oh, no. No. I had to, Rocco asked me, he goes, how are you doing it? And I said, in order to write this, I had to read the per chapter.
Yeah.
And then each chapter, I had to take the characters and find what was the most important to gain from the book that I could show on the film so that the audience could be captivated.
Right.
And for me to do that, I had to do per chapter. And it took a few days sometimes because I was like, okay, I would put it down and then I go back and say, you know, and I even called Rocco a couple of times. I said, well, what about this? And what about? He goes, you can put it in, but I said, it doesn't make it flow.
Right.
Because what I was trying to do was keep the most important parts. And I think one of the things when I wrote something and Rocco called me, he says, Frank, there's one scene that I really don't want you to change.
Okay.
And that was the Romeo and Juliet kiss.
Okay.
Because I had a kiss done earlier.
Yeah.
And he says, no, Frank, that's the moment when him and Marie have their first kiss.
Right.
And he says,
It's
you
very
got
special.
it. It's very special. And he
Yeah.
says, you can't change that.
Yeah.
So I went back and I said, you know what,
And then
you're
you
right.
have the man playing in the back.
So I said I had to go back, and I said, okay, that's why you know when you're working with the writer, from a book, that you have to stay in contact with because you want to keep a lot of the originality of the story, and you want to be able to capture that.
And
So-
there's flashbacks.
Oh yeah, there's flashbacks, like I said.
and
But so I went back and then I wrote the scene and then I described it and I sent it to him and I said, he goes, it's almost that if you were there, that you were in my mind, right in the same exact thing.
Wow.
And I said,
what a compliment.
And that was a compliment to me because, like I said, capturing. I mean, that's the one thing that as a screenwriter, when you're writing a book, you can write everything out.
Right.
But as a screenwriter, and Joe can attest to this, you have so much little time that you have to articulate and describe the scene to a certain 2 or 3, 4 lines.
Right,
So you
right.
say, we're at this location, and as they climbed the ladder, he stepped up, their eyes glazed. I mean, you have to do that type of thing.
Right,
You
right.
can't write a whole book, a whole page that they
no.
did this.
Yeah.
You have a shorter amount of time
Yeah.
so that the actors can grasp the moment
Right.
when they're doing
Yeah.
the scene and stuff. So that was a big challenge, but I really enjoyed it.
And you actually worked in the Bronx for like 5 years or something,
Yes,
right?
yes, I worked in the Bronx as an officer.
Yes.
And
Thank
stuff
you
with
for
the
your
sheriff's.
service.
Thank
He
you.
was a police-
And
yes,
one of the
officer.
things that made me also really understand the characters was Rocco said, listen, I want you to come to the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
I came up one day and he walked me around Arthur Avenue,
Right,
took me to the church.
right. He took you to places that were mentioned in the book.
Were mentioned in the book. And let me tell you, as a writer, it made a big difference. Because now, since I read the book, I visually couldn't see it.
Right, now you could describe
But
it.
once I got there,
Yeah.
now I understand visually what he was talking about. So he says, when you come out of the church, if you go down to the left and you keep walking, there's the playground. So that's where I created the bocce scene.
Right.
When he says, if you keep going this way, after the feast, after he sang,
Yes.
and he sees Marie for the first time,
Yeah.
and then he says, then he's going to meet, guys and the mob guys
Right.
for the first time in the social club. He says, it's a nondescript building.
Yeah.
He says, you would walk past it. It's a plain door. Nobody would know.
Wow.
But the neighborhoods do. So you had to describe all that stuff. And that's what was
Well, let's describe.
unique
wanna,
about that.
I want to describe what's to your left because
So-
you've been winning awards. This man has been winning awards.
So
Hello.
far, we have won 11 best scripts, screenplays for the adaptation.
Yes.
And this was the very first one. And I'm here to give this to Rocco.
Nice.
The New Jersey Film Festival awarded us with the very first award
Nice.
for best
Nice.
script. And then we've also won at the New York City Independent Film Festival.
Right.
We've won in Rome. We won in Italy at the Medusa Film Festival. We won at NIFA, the New York International Film Awards. We won at Switzerland. Sweden, the Swedish
Sweden,
International Film
yeah.
Festival. So we've been doing
Recognized,
recognized
yeah. This is
internationally,
amazing.
all right.
Yeah.
And to Rocco for, like I said, writing a great story and then giving me that opportunity.
Right.
I'm blessed to have
And
Rocco.
what's
This
that?
is for you.
Rocco, that's for you. And real quick, before I let you go, let's
Yes.
plug this wine.
Yes. This is for my executive producer, Giuseppe Ferrari, makes his own wine now. And like I said, he's the sponsor for the Lenore, New York to Palermo.
Yeah.
I tell him I give him a plug, so this way he's making his wine. And then we're going to be selling this as well. Hopefully raise some more funds
Yeah.
to produce some more of these little short films that we do. If anybody wants some wine, come and see me. Thank you.
That's it. All right, we're going to take our break. When we come back, we're going to come back with Rocco. Before we go, is there anything else that I didn't add that you want to add?
No, basically, like I said, I'll be here in a couple of weeks showing our short here at. Thank you, Bobby.
Bobby
for
Lacerra,
Bobby
beautiful
Lacerra
Paradise
for
Studios.
Paradise Studios here in Strong Island TV.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us, and we'll be showing the short film. Like I
Awesome.
said,
I'm excited.
What else are we doing? Like I said, we got a few things coming
In the
up
works,
in
yeah.
the works and
That's
stuff like
good.
that. And
Well, I
we'll
always
see where
love
we go.
having you here, my friend.
Thank you. I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
we'll be back after this. Don't go away.
Wonder Woman was everything to little girls, especially that look like me. She stands for being a voice for people that need a voice. My organization renovates homes for people with disabilities. And when I come home, a self-care routine makes me feel my best. I'm very proud of the difference that we're making, and to see that impact in my community inspires me to work even harder for everyone around me.
Doc, who's the best comedian you know?
Theresa Farrell.
And who's the best actress you know?
Theresa Farrell.
And who's the best cast member in Bad Boys?
Teresa Farrell.
Who's got the best radio?
Teresa Farrell.
Doc, who's your favorite guinea?
Teresa Farrell.
Who you loving right now?
Teresa Farrell.
All right, Doc, I love you too, baby.
Love you as always.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so excited about tonight's show. I'm back with Rocco Trombetta. Again, author. There once was a melody in the Bronx. So, again, Joe Pesci and your son singing, "So let's get to you," and singing, "Hello, we have to mention this." You end up going to High School of Performing Arts?
I went for about a year, yes.
Yes, that's the
Okay.
famous fame school, if no one knows about that.
For drama. Wasn't for singing, but I sing.
You
at least-
sing,
at
not
least
for
I-
nothing.
At least I
Listen,
think I do.
Listen, according to this, according to your book,
Yes,
the book, I got to
yes,
get the book, you
yes.
got to read the book. You were singing.
Correct.
Okay, someone heard you sing, and it led you. Can't give away too much, people, but let's just say that his singing took him some places. Okay.
Correct.
And one of the places was a restaurant. Mm-hmm. And there was a gentleman named Joe who worked there, who played guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And he basically told you, "Look, kid, you're talented, but you have no technique."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Pesci, who we're talking about, took you under his wing and said to you, "I want to help you hone in on your talent." And you basically sang. Joe played, you sang, and did he come in like on the chorus and joined you with some harmony and stuff?
Exactly. I sang in the neighborhood. I'd sing in Gino's pastry shop. I'd sing
Shout out
in,
to Gino.
Shout out to Gino. I didn't forget you, Jerome. Don't worry about it. But giving more than Jerome, la buonanima di Gino.
Yes.
The good soul of Gino, his
Yes,
dad, was the one who brought me into this place at the time called Amici's Restaurant, which was
Amici's.
the only probably restaurant right after Mario's, because Mario's is still there and it's still a staple and it's an icon.
Right.
Which we'll be eating there on the 26th. by the
Okay.
way. Anyway, so Gino took me literally
By the hand.
By the hands. I'm gonna take you someplace, and you're gonna sing for these guys.
Right.
And over there, you're gonna make money. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Now, wait, not over here in my pastry shop. So he took me literally across the street.
Right.
And made me sing. I sang, I don't know what I sang. I think I sang Mamma, Mamma soltanto felice, perché ritorno da te. La mia canzone mi dice che è più bel giorno per te.
Grazie.
And these guys were floored. They were like,
Sobbing.
these grown men, mob guys, whatever.
Right.
Like,
Oh my God.
I stop it now.
Now listen, so you worked in this restaurant. There was a lot of famous people that came into this restaurant. Tony Bennett came in there.
So many.
Connie
Francis.
Francis was there, and Frankie Avalon, right, and a bunch of different
All
people.
names, and at the time that I was a kid, I didn't know who these people were. I mean, I didn't know who they were. I was a kid. I really didn't know. But
you made tips. They gave you
Correct.
tips. And back in the day, those were big tips. And you brought home money more than your mother and your brother made combined, like in a month.
I had a stash it sotto tavola and
Right.
sotto materazzi.
Yeah.
Because if they found out how much I really made, they said, what are you doing?
Right,
I'm
right,
singing
right.
songs. I don't know, and I get paid. I'll give you a little quick story. It's in the book, but it's a little snippet.
Okay.
Little snippet is I go to Connie Francis, right? They were singing in this private room.
Right.
I sing Mama for her, Mama.
Yeah, it's a beautiful.
And she shed this beautiful tear that I still remember down her cheek. It was the most beautiful thing to see. I really have to say.
Right.
I was even moved by it. And she goes, in her soft, vieni qua, come over here.
Yeah.
So I walk over here. And she takes my hand and she slips a $50 bill back in 1977-ish, right?
Yeah.
Anybody's father, anybody's mother was making maybe $60, $70 a month.
Yeah.
In one night. And that was just Connie Francis.
The most you made in one night, was that at the end?
It was $1.50.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about $1.50.
Yeah.
Through 20s here, 10
Right,
here,
right.
5 here. Again, we'd go to the tables. Pesci would play. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Pesci was one of the first band members of or at least he was part of it, the Four Seasons.
Yeah, yeah.
With Frankie Valli.
Yeah, and that was in the movie. That was documented in the movie. But he really wanted to be a singer.
He wanted to be a singer, and he taught me this song.
He taught you a song that only he and you knew.
Only
he
us
wrote it.
two. He wrote it.
He wrote it, and you learned it.
You're good, man.
I'm very good.
She does her homework.
I do.
Wow,
I do. And
Holy.
so wait.
Don't try to pull anything on Theresa. It ain't gonna work.
So he writes an original song.
Yeah.
You learn how to sing it.
You want to hear it?
No.
No.
But wait. If we have time, you can sing
I
it.
should. Go ahead. Go. Why?
If we have time, you can sing it. But wait. So you write it out, and you give it to somebody, and that
She
somebody
remembers
gives
that
it to
too.
Pesci, and
remembers
Pesci
that
goes,
too.
"Where did you get this, kid?"
Correct. Years later, and I'm talking about maybe 10 years ago. So the last time I saw Pesci was like in 19. I saw him once.
2014?
No, yeah,
10 years
2014. 2014 on the phone.
Right.
On the phone, where
Yeah.
this guy gave him this note.
Right.
Which this note
Right.
was the song that
Right.
he wrote.
He wrote it.
And when he opened it up, my friend who gave it to him saw his expression,
Yeah.
and the expression was literally, if
yeah.
I can act it out, right?
Where'd you get
And he
this?
looked, and he
Yeah,
looked
yeah.
at the guy.
Yeah.
Who gave you this?
Right.
Come over here. He actually calls my friend over.
Yeah.
Here he goes. I'm my friend who thought I was BSing the whole story
That you
about
knew
knowing
him.
Pesci and all
And
that.
that you played with
he
him.
plays over and he comes
Yeah.
over and he says, "Who gave you this?" He says, "This guy Rocco. I don't know. He says he knows you. What is that? What did he write to you?
Right. Right.
A love letter?" So he says, "This is a song. Do you have his number?" He goes, "Do you have his number?" He goes, "Yeah, of course I do." Calls me up. So this is about 2014. He gets on the phone. Hey, you little. We'll leave that part out, that
Expletive.
bleep out. I said, "Joe." I said, "What's up? Hey, baby, how you doing?" I said, "Joe, you know, after a few words here, I got a
Right.
story. I wrote a story. You know, and I would
Yeah.
love." He goes, "Hey, Rocco, you know how many stories are out there?" And then he
Yeah.
goes, if I had $1 for everyone who wants to give me a story."
Right.
I said, "I get it."
Yeah.
I told him, "But this is about you." And I said, "And your song.
Yeah.
That,
What was the song called? What was it titled?
Oh, Cherie.
Really?
Oh, Cherie.
All right, so how'd it go?
Oh, woe is me. Oh, Cherie. Oh, woe is me. Every time I look into your eyes, something makes me stand there paralyzed. If you knew the way I felt about you, I bet you come running after me. Oh, Cherie. Oh, woe is me. Heaven knows I want you for my bride. Thank you.
I
have it written
that.
down. I have it
Hey,
written down.
listen, this
But
is
for
a
me
Joe
to remember,
Pesci original.
this is a
And
Joe
you're talking,
Pesci original,
you know,
ladies and gentlemen.
a long time ago.
Never was published, never was
Wow.
done, and
And it's a first on Tea Time. There you go.
it stood up here
Yeah.
forever.
Wow.
It never left this kugutsu here.
Now, so you never actually performed it with him?
No. He taught me this privately,
Right.
and I guess I don't know. I guess he just wanted to, like someone just wants to show you, wants
Right.
to. Let me see what this
So
kid
he was
thinks.
really like kind of like your mentor with Mr. Godzilli,
Mr.
right?
Godzilli, God rest his soul.
And-
Reminds me of Mr. Cirillo Godzilli. That's why.
And so you were with Joe for about 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Was it about 2
Close-
years?
close to 2 years.
And then after that, he went on to do Raging Bull.
He went on to do Raging Bull, yes, and that's
Were you in
when,
shock when you saw him?
when I saw him on
in
the silver
Raging
screen.
Bull?
I almost dropped to the.
He
to the-
traded in his guitar for the big screen.
Exactly. And I was so happy and proud of him. 4 years later, Theresa, 4 years after Raging Bull, he calls me.
Yeah.
He gives me a call. He got my number through this dishwasher in the restaurant.
Okay.
Again, a true story. You want to believe me, you believe me. You don't believe me, you don't believe me. What do you want me to tell you? Anyway, the bottom line, he calls me up. He says, "Get over here right now to the restaurant." I said, "Joe, what did I do? What?
Right.
Get over here." He goes, "I'm shooting a movie Uh-oh. I said, that's it. Boom, put the phone down. I run down to the restaurant like in, I don't know, it was like 10 blocks. I think I must have made it in, I don't know, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Shoom. I ran down there. I knew exactly where to go, the back door. He's waiting for me with his pinky ring over there. They're all decked out, his shirt. Right, and Joe, oh my God. I said, look, you're a movie star. He goes, never mind the bullshit. Like, I'm shooting this film, and I need a kid like you. I said, Joe, what do you mean? What movie? What do you got? He says, it's a movie about I'm doing with this director. Long story short, the name of the film is called, and you could Google this while we talk, someone.
Okay.
It's called Mr. Wonderful. Just put it in.
Okay.
Mr. Wonderful. Just if someone could Google it.
All right.
You got to put Joe Pesci, Mr. Wonderful.
Okay.
Film again was about he was a singer, you know, and it was mentoring a kid, but it's different, totally different, totally different.
Right.
And and it was his nephew or something like that in the film. But the nephew was apparently a bad kid. And,
Right.
and when I went for the screen,
The audition?
I went for
you didn't need that.
what do they call those things?
What?
Like a screen
Screen test?
test. Bravo,
test.
thank you.
Yeah.
Screen test.
test,
Or
yeah.
test.
Yeah.
I went down there to the Mayflower Hotel.
Okay.
On 59th and you're checking that out, Ralph?
Yeah.
You got it? All right. On 59th and right over Central Park.
Right, right.
I go upstairs into the last floor,
Yeah.
penthouse, whatever.
Yeah.
Who walks right by us? I didn't know who he was. Bobby De Niro.
Wow.
Passes right by us, me and my brother. We go in, we kind of like one of those bump into each other type of thing. Oh,
Right.
sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
We go in, he goes, oh, you must have seen Bobby. I said, Bobby who? Bobby, Bobby. He goes, De Niro, Bobby. I said, that was him?
Oh, wow.
He looked like an
Right.
He looked like he was
Oh, my
old.
God.
Anyway, we sat on the terrace. We were out there under the Cinzano umbrellas and
Yeah.
whatnot. This director from Germany, whatever, had sitting under the umbrella on the terrace. He's taking pictures of me left and right. I'm like, whoa. Would you stop it? What are you, the FBI over here? Long story short, Theresa, I didn't get the part.
Okay. All right.
But
Was it
he
meant to be?
remembered me
Yeah.
4 years later
Right.
for some odd reason or other.
Yeah.
So that was my first, if you will, interaction with him after Raging Bull.
Yeah.
And maybe he did something else too in those 4 years.
Sure.
And then the second time was that time that I said with my friend with that letter.
Right.
That was
right.
that was really cool because I knew that was going to
Very
grab
cool.
his attention.
Very cool. You know what else is cool? We've got
Joe,
more.
where are you, my
Wait.
Najami Zadi? We'll make this
Joe
result to
Pesci.
me. Let's go.
Let's go. Listen, Carmine, do me a favor. Pick up G and
Over here.
G, please. G. I think G. That's you singing, correct?
That's me singing.
Hey,
Yes.
there you are.
That's the band in the background.
Wow. And then we
Le dolce
got
melodia.
J. I think J, if I'm correct.
What else we have
Am I right?
there? J.
Oh no, that she was signing.
That's
No,
why
just
signing
G.
book.
S.
There we
we go. Leave that up. We're talking about Giuseppe Pesci there.
That is
okay.
an original
That's
picture.
an original pick. Now,
And
was
by
that
the way-
was that taken in the restaurant?
Yes.
So that was at Amici's.
Do you recall? Yeah. Do you recall the scene and even in the book where Leo
it's in
talks to me in that hallway, the Hall of Famous?
Yes.
All the pictures
Yes.
of every
Yes.
famous person,
Yes.
there was, including, politicians.
Right.
And I say, hey, this guy's more important than all these people on this wall. That's the Wall of Famous.
Wow. And that picture again, that is
And who knew he would end up in that?
That is before Raging Bull. That
That
is
is
before
before
his.
Raging
That
Bull.
is when Joe was a musician.
And I believe that is. I think.
We think.
We think the producer here at your show is saying that he thinks it's LaMotta's,
Jake LaMotta's
brother or trainer or something.
We're thinking it
Yeah.
might be him. Hey, listen, Rocco.
Dimmi. Che mi dici?
We got less than a minute left.
I'm finita qua.
I want to
Finisci.
tell you, listen, finito, look, it went so fast. Find Rocco Trombetta. There's his name. You can find him on Facebook, and you can find him on Instagram, Rocco Trombetta 9318. Okay, so look for him, find him, follow him. Please go to Amazon and find this book and read it. Read it. And you know what? I can't wait until we are making this into a movie. It's going to happen. It's so going to happen. It's not even a question of if. It's a question of when. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Okay? So I want to thank you so much for doing this. My door's open anytime. I'm sure we're going to do this again because we're going to have more to talk about.
She's great, isn't she? Numero uno.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And we're gonna continue the party here. But listen, I gotta go. I just want to give a shout out to everybody. Thank you for watching Tea Time. Thank you for supporting me. I do appreciate it. Much love to everyone. Remember, tell everybody you love them, and I'll see you next week. Say ciao.
Grazie.
Ciao.
Ciao. Frank.